France was rocked by widespread unrest as thousands of protesters took to the streets to express growing discontent with French President Emmanuel Macron's leadership and recently proposed austerity policies. Demonstrators blocked roads, clashed with law enforcement and set fire in Paris and other major cities, leading to over 200 arrests in the first day of what activists are calling the Block Everything movement. The Macron government has deployed an exceptional 80,000 police officers across the country in an attempt to prevent large-scale disorder. Despite this, protesters erected barricades, lit fires and staged demonstrations across multiple regions. Garbage bins were set alight in Paris, while commuters reportedly blocked key thoroughfares. So what brought French protesters out in the streets? The protests followed days of political upheaval after Prime Minister François Hollande lost a parliamentary confidence vote on Monday. He had announced sweeping austerity measures, including cutting public holidays, freezing pensions. Subsequently had to put in his paper because people were very upset. On Tuesday, the French President Macron swiftly appointed Sébastien Lecornu, his loyal defense minister, as the new prime minister. The fourth in 12 months. The rapid changes at the top underscored political instability but also fueled resentment among many who accuse Macron of ignoring widespread discontent. The pressure is mounting in President Macron. The timing of the protest, just a day after Lecornu's appointment, has intensified the political challenge for Macron. Let me straight away go to my guest, Ambassador Deepak Bohra, former Indian diplomat. He has served in France, and Julia Krill, Executive Director, BNK Agency. She's live from Italy. Ambassador Bohra, is this curtains for Macron?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you very much. I'm driving to the city from the airport, so if there's a little bit of movement in the car, it has nothing to do with the trouble in France. It's just that I'm driving at the moment. All right, it was my first posting. The then French Prime Minister Raymond Barre was a good friend. I studied at the Sorbonne, and I always told him that France was my girlfriend, India was my mother. Absolutely loved that place. Now, this was the post-Belle Epoque period. Everything worked. And the French used to party like there's no tomorrow. And so if there's any war with the then Soviet Union, we'll ring up Washington, they'll come and defend us. Now, what happened was, sir, the economy could not sustain this kind of lifestyle. I've seen it. Debt today in France, and I'll tell you the reasons why the protests are taking place. The debt today in France, $1 billion economy, the debt is $3.8 trillion. Trillion has 12 zeros. Who's going to pay that? Not the French. They're not used to paying. They're used to partying. Secondly, sir, is unemployment. The French government tells lies that unemployment is 20%. It's closer to 60%. Unemployment and underemployment. Third issue, sir, is migration. You know, the French want to reclaim their country. And I have many friends there. We communicate. They say, but this is our country. These fellows are the invaders is the term they use. From North Africa, the Muslims, from Morocco, from Algeria, from Tunisia, from Mauritania, from Mali, wherever. They are supposed to follow our system, but they are forcing us to follow their system. We are not the Islamic Republic of France. We want to take back France. This was the third major issue. And then, of course, when there's unemployment and underemployment, you blame the foreigner. So the kids have taken to the streets. It's a great French tradition of protesting. Normally, when I was studying there, we would do it, ma'am. You're from Italy. We would do it in the month of April, May. As soon as summer was coming, we didn't have internet or WhatsApp at that time, so we would send chits to each other. They'd come and meet us at the cafe. We'll have a glass of wine with our latest girlfriend, and then we'll protest. The question was, protest about what? That we'll decide later. First, we'll go and protest. That's a great French tradition. But this is serious. The rich and poor communities, yes, the divide is growing. Unemployment amongst the immigrants is very high, and they are angry. And they are saying that we are now taking back from France what France looted from our country. So I'll also conclude by saying, you know that 80-85% of France's energy is nuclear based. And they get their uranium, they used to, from Mauritania and Mali, till the French were kicked out from there some time ago. Now the Mauritanians, I've been to that country many times, are saying on the Malians, take it from us, but you pay the market price. That's going to make production costs very high. Okay. France is in trouble. Make no mistake. There was talk of France going to the IMF for a bailout. But of course, then the arrogance of, forgive me, ma'am, the arrogance of Europe, we will not allow you to go to
Ambassador Bohra is saying that the France is in trouble. You know, the timing of the protest just a day after Prime Minister's appointment in France, it has intensified. and it is challenging for Macron. Opposition parties, they have accused the president of ignoring voter frustration by choosing another loyalist. He's 39 years, fifth prime minister in his second term, the third in little over a year. The previous incumbent lasted just 9 months before losing the confidence vote, while his predecessor survived barely 3. Macron's choice of the current Prime Minister was seen as a move to maintain stability and avoid a dangerous power vacuum ahead of protests. The President's office said that Le Cornu has been tasked with seeking consensus in Parliament to pass budget, a critical priority as France faces ballooning public debt. France's economic woes are piling up. Food, fuel and energy prices have seen a spike over recent months. Youth employment is high. Some people say 20%, others say more than that. Now, let me play out the bite of the Prime Minister of France.
Il faut qu'on arrive à mettre fin, au fond, à ce double décalage, le décalage entre la situation politique et le décalage avec ce qu'attendent légitimement nos concitoyennes et nos concitoyens pour leur vie quotidienne, pour la situation économique et sociale, leur sécurité, bref, ce pourquoi, évidemment, nous sommes missionnés. Et cela va falloir aussi changer, être sûrement plus créatif, parfois plus technique, plus sérieux dans la manière de travailler avec nos oppositions. J'aurai l'occasion d'y revenir, on vient d'en parler très longuement.
So let me straight away go to Julia Krill. Julia, is it only about economy or is it about the fact that what Ambassador Vora very candidly pointed out, that there is great resentment in France, people want to reclaim their country and migration has become a hot political potato?
Well, indeed, immigration is one of the problems, but also France has been consistently for many years spending more money than it has generated. Ever since COVID, France debt has tripled or doubled, and we are witnessing a deep social frustration among people. And, you know, on one hand, people's income is not low enough to ask for social benefits, but it's also not high enough to survive. So as the ambassador pointed out correctly, that French people do enjoy to have very comfortable life. And we can also look at the broader situation in France. A lot of infrastructure is state-owned. A lot of people are publicly employed. France was the first to push for some of the policies, such as pushing for Green Deal and reduction in emissions that forced a lot of companies to leave France. So the economy is really in a bad shape. The debt in France equals, as the ambassador says, more than 3 trillion, which is around 50,000 euros per person, which is a lot of money if you think about this. So indeed, the economic situation is stagnating, and the markets are also being worried, because markets don't like instability, they don't like fiscal uncertainty. And in the attempts to pass a deficit-cutting budget, obviously the former prime minister failed. But Macron's job is to show to the markets that France still can be in the reduction deficit mode rather than keep growing the deficit, because we have to remember that EU benchmark for the country's deficit is 3%, while France is at 5.8% last year. So it is indeed a very
Julia, do
concerning
you think
situation.
that Macron will be able to rough ride this crisis?
Regarding the protests, well,
Yes.
yeah, they have to find a deal with the protesters. And the fact is that these protests have been scheduled long before September 8th. Social media channels, TikTok, Instagram, people were calling for the protests long in advance. They have been protesting for weeks probably before. And I think that next week there might be another protest. So today is not the only day. It just had this weight because of the no confidence vote and the appointment of the new prime minister.